Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3 Tides of Torment, where we made some new enemies, but here's the thing about elves. They're basically just made of blood and treasure, and that's everything we want in the world, just to sort of run our hands through a river of blood and treasure. So let's go make one. Right now, Tyrannok is running 10 settlements. So that's probably they probably have a lot of this side of Ulthuan. Because there's like 1, 2, 3, and then of course the one we can see over here, 4. More settlements on this side before you wrap around to the inside. But we can see they don't really hold... This looks like it's their color too. Maybe, it might not be. No, that's Avalorn. Okay. So yeah, they must hold a lot of the eastern part of the thing. Well, we'll push around there and grab them. One thing I am noticing looking at this view that I had not checked before is that they are strength rank number 4 of all of the factions in the world. That has me a little concerned. Let's see. Well, it's fine. You know what? We got momentum. It's fine. So we know Tyrion is somewhere. I mean, we're gonna have to show him who's boss. So what are we doing infrastructure wise? We're still waiting on buildings to complete mostly. Yep, still waiting on buildings to complete. All right, let's go do some bodily harm. We'll bring up Thomin Gorax to serve as reinforcements here. Let's drop as many bodies as possible. Okay, so we can see Torsathai. There are no more reinforcements at Torsathai, but it looks like Tyrion did not go very far. We saw him leave the settlement headed south, and I think what he did is he looked at our movement range and went just beyond the edge of it. So Tyrion himself is quite a dangerous character. He's got very impressive combat stats, and he's got a lot of leadership type abilities, but his army is made up of a lot of really, really basic, like tier 1 type stuff here. Just normal archers, normal spears, a couple of units of Sea Guard, some very basic cavalry troops. It's very similar to the army we just beat. It's got a handmaiden, which is not a wizard, I think. So they might not have access to spells. But he is right. I cannot reach him. He did move far enough away to get out of that. So let's just take Avathir and continue the thing we're doing, right? Avathir's garrison should be completely trivial. Yeah, we don't need to manually battle that.
Immediately.
74 losses is bananas. How could that possibly? From where? This is what I was talking about. Like, how is one of their archer units going to get 27 kills? And we are going to continue dedicating this island to the serpent.
A dedication to the serpent.
Is that statue number 4 for us? It is. So we're very close to our first proper Serpent's Favor upgrade, which will include a 5% upkeep reduction of the cost of all of our armies and 6% physical resistance for our characters. So that's pretty fun. And then his army is right there. There's not really anything we can do about that. We're still waiting to upgrade White Peak so that we can gain the marble. So I don't think the recruitment structure is the right play here. You're only able to use the local pool to recruit as long as you're standing in the same province as the structure. And I just don't imagine we're going to spend a lot of time over here. So the other options are boosts for your armies in adjacent regions, money boosts. Or some casualty replenishment. Yeah, let's do this. Let's make it a bleeding ground. So a little bit of extra movement range, a little bit of extra casualty replenishment, and this will be done next turn. So we'll be benefiting from it immediately before we can even move again. And hopefully, you know, he doesn't. I don't know what he could possibly do to us. He could have another reinforcement army run out of the dark, but they'd have to be able to run really far in order to be relevant here.
Brave sons of
Do we want to recruit anything? Probably not. We want to stay mobile. Yeah, I think we're good.
Wind wielder.
Our brand new terrifying hero gets a skill point. I'm gonna so we're gonna pick up some yellow line stuff and improve his combat efficiency. I'm gonna start by grabbing training though. Right now he is providing bonus XP to every unit in his army, and we're gonna increase the amount of that. That'll be some good utility.
I am in agreement.
Make sure that you guys are staying close enough to the city that you can't be attacked without the city garrison and Wolfric getting involved.
Glory!
So let's talk about corruption a little bit, because we haven't really talked in any detail. Different factions may produce corruption. Not everybody does. But different factions produce different kinds of corruption, and every faction is subject to significant penalties if they have to exist in a place that is not that has a lot of corruption that is not of their favored type. So a lot of the like basic good guy races, your elves and your humans and stuff, they don't like any kind of corruption and they suffer badly when in the presence of any kind of corruption. We like chaos corruption, and we get some minor bonuses from it, and it does not harm us at all. The Dread Fleet likes vampiric corruption, and they have been spreading vampiric corruption up the coast as they've been taking control of these places. So we're currently suffering attrition damage just for being in the area, being picked at by evil wildlife and vampires jumping our troops out of every shadow and whatnot. So as time goes on here, you can see just by our presence, where we're producing -6 vampiric corruption per turn, we're bringing this value down, we're bringing the chaos value up. It's just going to take a little while and a couple of military victories to get this stuff turned around the way we like it.
Their souls for the
We're not ready to do anything here, and so I think we are, in fact, ready to just hit next turn. And I'm hoping that I'm buying the other two factions that are attacking Ulthuan the time they need to sort of regroup and start exerting pressure on the other side. Oh, Tyrion wants some? He is, in fact, going to ride up a reinforcement army. Okay. That's a lot of elves. So we have our starting army here. We have the settlement garrison, but because we just took the settlement over, all of the units in the garrison are very, very badly damaged. And a minute and 50 seconds after battle is joined, Thomin Gorax is going to show up. Meanwhile, these elves have... they also have a reinforcement time of 150. Alistair's army is interesting. So Alistair, the White Lion, has skills that give bonuses to White Lions. This is like the guy for that little sort of subunit within the Elven army. And as you can see, to take advantage of that, he's got 5 units of White Lions of Trace and then a whole bunch of actual War Lions. I don't think his army is terribly good overall. 5 units of White Lions of Trace is gonna be hard to fight in melee, but we have enough tools and tricks that we should be okay. Provided that we can get there. They have us outnumbered a fair amount. I would say our troops are better, mostly, but they have us outnumbered a fair amount. This is a pretty ugly one, and because we are hunkered down to the statue, we cannot retreat. We are effectively in the statue garrison. Yeah, this is a lot of elves. This is going to be our major problem here. So I do think that all of our vigor loss reduction is actually going to come in really handy. It's going to be really nice to have a an army that just doesn't get tired after slaughtering, let's say, 2,000 or so elves, because they're going to have to do that and then keep going. Their reinforcements are arriving from directly behind them. Our reinforcements are arriving from this edge of the battlefield. And you can these values are set by the physical map locations of the armies relative to the line of conflict. We can ask them to come in at different locations. I can drag this around, but the further we get from their natural approach, the longer it's going to take them as they have to maneuver around the outside. And I just want them to get here quickly. So we'll just... Where was it? Yeah, there we go. We'll just leave them exactly where they want to come in. And I don't know that there's a lot of skill to apply here. We're kind of an open territory. I guess the one big question to ask is whether we want to push the enemy and hit them, basically be fighting them over near their territory as the reinforcements are arriving into them, or whether we want to wait back for our stuff to show up and then go in basically full-size armies against full-size armies. I think that they get more out of their reinforcements than we do, but because their reinforcements are coming in a position that's so much better for them, it probably doesn't... If we could get over there and wreak some havoc real fast, and then pin their armies as they're coming in and just rain spell effects on them, it would be really big. I'm just not sure I have the capability of doing that. I don't think we can get in there and do the damage fast enough. Okay, so if we take our melee core, let's say we do this. The skin wolves aren't slowed by the trees. The skin wolves can start in the trees anyway. We have the real fast movers move real fast.
Wulfric the Wanderer.
I wonder at what level Wulfric gets his mammoth. We should probably check on that.
Killing cow.
Units that are a little bit faster here on the inside, just so we can run up. What does that leave us with? Oh, right. The Marauder Hunters should probably be just behind the front line. Got our Skin Wolves. And then we do have all of these horribly damaged units from the garrison that I don't really know what to do with, because they're just going to shatter immediately when they get near combat, and then they're going to fuck up everybody's leadership, because we're going to see friendly units shattering. So I think I'm just going to actually tuck them away and not use them. Okay, and they set up in pretty much the most straightforward possible way. Do we just cut to the east to the reinforcement point and wait? I don't love it as a plan. I do think they really get a lot out of getting to put all their units together, but I also... It's a real shame that they have the ability to make this fight occur on their reinforcement point. Let's see about heading in this direction. We'll see how long it takes our troops to get the sort of initial march going.
Men, kill well and die well.
Kill well, die well, just do... If I had to ask you a favor in this moment, it would be, what if you did a good job at this war? What if this war was the one where we didn't fuck it up?
Scalps for my armor.
Alright, so everybody's in. Let's try to move the horses around, avoid their current area of aiming, and just see if we can pull their attention to the side a little bit or anything. Okay, we do seem to have got them acting. I mean, kind of fuck it, let's go. I don't know how. I don't know. I think let's just go. Let's just push up on them. Try to get some good flanking maneuvers. We'll try to eat their flyers in the air. The skin wolves are unfortunately going to have to reveal themselves, but we're basically going to try to charge across into the trees to wrap around. Although that does put the skin wolves themselves into a position to get wrapped around by the reinforcements. Starting to do the thing again. Okay, they seem pretty unsure of their positioning. A lot of shuffling back and forth. Alright, go throw shit at that eagle. Okay, so I think this is the ogres are just going in. I'm just going to point each of the ogre units at an archer unit, and that's going to be the last we think about them. To be clear, these ogres were an interesting and important part of our build once upon a time. Because we were low on high impact melee troops, high impact cavalry type troops. Now that we have pretty fast access to skin wolves, there's nothing the ogres are doing for us that we can't just replace. So, not to say that I don't care what happens to them, but in a very real way, I don't care what happens to them. Alright, I'm going to throw a quick Searing Doom out here, because I think they will try to dodge. Let's just buy some time for my units to get in. And we are, in fact, going directly in on them. Yeah, the biggest downside is the Lothern Sea Guard are spear infantry, so they're better at fighting large units than you would like. But we can still establish a pretty decent charge and break them down with all of our various spell effects and whatnot. Okay, cool, great. We got them running. I kind of want to go shoot Frost Breath at the archers over here because they're so grouped up on top of the other enemy units. And for that same reason, I really want to belt a Sea Fang right through here. Plus, this will help hold the units in place for the what you call it. This will hold the units in place for the Dragon Breath. Okay, they brought their cav out to this side. Should I? Yeah, let's see if we can catch their cavalry with the ogres. If we retreat our own cavalry back through the ogres, I wonder if we can get them the enemies to stay put and allow us to catch them like that. You guys just hit them in the side wherever they're open. Y'all just plan to meet up with some elves. Go hug some elves. Everybody give a hug. Okay, geez. Dragon Breath did some pretty good work there. Here comes a big angry mammoth. I can't believe that they're still in the fight. Alright, you're going to blast your Helm of Discord and your Fight or Die. This is definitely a good time for some conduct. Oh boy, those skin wolves are getting wrecked up real bad by a couple units of wolves. I did not see that coming. So I definitely want to fuck up the melee stats of a large swath of enemy troops here. But I think it's gonna be these guys. That is not what I was originally intending. Let's get the marauders in. Just try to lob some axes into the problem. Skin wolves are supposed to be really tough. So notice that we have 22 of the 24 skin wolves remaining, but the total health of the unit is well under half. This is that effect that I was talking about before. We might need you guys to turn around and help us out here, because it turns out things are going a little bit sideways. Okay, and our reinforcements have started to show up, as have theirs. Let's grab our reinforcement units, and for the moment, do nothing more sophisticated than get the fuck over here, please. As soon as they arrive, we can give them more specific orders. Let this spell go off, and then we're going to immediately follow up with some Shards of Doom.
This one's good.
Alright, the combination of that and the throwing axes, I think, is going to save our elves. Tyrion has managed to take our unit of Marauder champions on his shield, and to be perfectly honest with you, the odds are that he is going to win that fight. I'd put good money on him there, actually, so that's worrisome. Again, let's try to get the horses clear, but it looks like the ogre bulls did get in, and that's good news for us. The ogres should do okay damage against the Illyrian Reavers as long as we can keep them in one piece. If they get away and start like charging and counter-charging, it could turn ugly. I think so. We're seeing all the lions and shit coming out of the woods here. Oh man, the range on the scale is so short. Okay, we're going to wait on use of the scale. But I think we broke a lot of their initial charge really badly, and I think that bodes pretty well for us. Our own reinforcement units are... Some of them are on horseback. Alright, we gotta get our dragon out of there. He's starting to get caught by the... She's starting to get caught by the ranged attacks coming out of the second group. Alright, throw stuff at those guys. You refocus. Let's go Dragon Breath into a group of oncoming. That looks pretty juicy. Where are we at on effects here? Still a pretty long time, unfortunately. We got to be careful of the mammoth getting too much direct arrow fire, because it's definitely vulnerable and it doesn't have the kind of armor that a lot of large units have. Okay, so you guys are throwing at spears. You guys are throwing at spears. Man, Searing Doom has like no cooldown. What a great spell. And remember, every time he casts, it's buffing the weapon damage for everybody else on the field. So we want him to be casting constantly. We need him to be doing stuff all the time. Tyrion is riding off, presumably to some kind of flank. And we should probably keep an eye on that. But for the moment, the most important thing is trying to break this incoming group. Unfortunately, it takes forever for Seafang to come off cooldown. This would be such a good time for Seafang. But what we can do is ride in with intent.
For the masters.
Get close enough that we can drop that tornado. The war lions got in front of me. Yeah, we really need to get closer to be able to guarantee that. Right, break those guys down. These dudes do not like being flanked. Does anybody need to be de-armored? Not particularly. A lot of their units are pretty low armor already. Okay, axe throws into the white lions. Tyrion's trying to disrupt the axe throwers, which makes good sense. I think that's smart play on his part. The dragon is, attracting a lot of attention. Why don't we have the dragon? Jeez, what is the dragon going to do? Because we need to get the dragon out of the way until the archers are a little bit more thinned out. Okay, here comes Scylla. Scylla's on countercharge duty. Here come ogres. Let's try to pull our guys back here so that we can perform some ogre countercharges. And the other, like the foot marauders, we can't give too much to in terms of orders. We kind of just have to wait for them to get there. But I'm definitely excited to apply this guy. So for the moment, the answer to what do we do with the dragon might just be pull back.
Wulfric the Wanderer, the inescapable one.
Wulfric's doing a pretty good job of cutting through these lions, but like his big ass chariot is hard. It's hard to maneuver it through troops. It doesn't have the slipperiness of a horse. Go eat that eagle.
Hear my taunts. Tracking.
Ooh, okay. We have an opportunity here for what is probably going to be a pretty good sea fang, and it is likely to make a difference, a significant difference to the outcome of this battle, whether it's a good sea fang or a bad sea fang. So you guys must have broken and run, or maybe they chased some enemies out. In any case, they're ready to come back, and just point them right at those archers. What are the other skin wolves up to right now? Chasing enemies through the forest. All right, chase those guys off the map. Okay, you guys have broken your targets. This is actually, it's kind of good that this worked out this way, because now we have these units behind enemy lines who can perform counter charges for us. We're gonna throw a quick Searing Doom on these white lions, and then we're gonna line up a pretty good boat somewhere. So we hardly have any units left in this mess. This is mostly spears though. Oh, look at, okay, this is it. This is the hot spot right here. It's a little hard to tell. I'm trying to make sure that we're getting the right bodies, especially as people get covered in blood. It starts to get hard to tell who's who. But I think this is what we want. I think we want to target it like this. And then we can try to drop the scale effect into those guys. If I can get free of the wolves. Okay, I mean, that was alright. That wasn't quite what I was hoping for.
Shame on sorcerer.
Wizard's getting attacked. Let's make sure we get another good weakening effect out.
A killing. Agreed. Moving out.
Can we get you free? Okay, here come the skin wolves.
Shame on sorcerer.
Our Shaman Sorcerer is statted up enough to fight elf archers for sure, as we saw last time that we were actually looking at his stats. We can throw a quick Fight or Die and Helm of Discord before we leave this area. Just lay down some effectiveness. I guess the enemies have mostly moved forward. Yeah, you know what? We can throw this here. And it's a randomly moving area of effects, so hopefully it doesn't just track directly into my own units. You guys are chomping that eagle. The Marauder Hunters probably should back up in any case. They're way too close to that fight. These other Marauder Hunters are doing a fine job of keeping Tyrion's attention. Sorry, fellas, that is in fact your goal at this point in this fight. And we're in on a lot of their dudes. Okay, some of my units chose to enter the battle in a way that I don't fully understand. Oh no, these are the horribly, no, these are not the horribly injured guys. They're just, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay, you guys are doing what you need to do. You guys are walking real slow. So we finally have our other wizard approaching, our wizard lord. There's not really any magic left in the pool because wizards do not have their own resource pools. It's a single pool of magic. So unfortunately, they are just going to have to deal with that. And you are just inserting yourself into battle in a way that I'm very excited about here. So we're going to not make you the Crimson Juggernaut. That would have been a thing to do before you got in there. I guess just kill for corn, and let's watch the carnage for a second here. Obviously, we have a lot of ordering to do, but it is cool to watch this guy just chop people. Punch elves in half over top of the other elves. Big chunks of dudes flying off in wild directions. Our sorcerer is getting grabbed by they sent their great eagle around because our sorcerer is kicking their archers' asses, and we're going to try to renew that. Their handmaiden, their hybrid weapon specialist over there, is doing some okay work. Let's see if we can put an end to that. It looks like the magic casts, yeah, it's done some okay work. So the biggest problem we have left now is elven characters. We are going to find, I think, that it is a little problematic for us to deal with. Let me group our 3 Marauder Horsemen around. We're going to find that it's a little problematic to deal with Tyrion. You can see here, 83 attack, 92 defense, 720 weapon strength with a bonus against large and 126 armor, and he's just a very scary dude. We obviously are going to be able to dope his stats down a little bit with magic, but not as much as you might hope, because we do have we have spent a lot of the magic resources at this point. The Marauder axe throwers, whatever exists still. Jeez, yeah, it's not a lot left. Can try to stay on him. Their weapons do largely pierce armor, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. We're gonna have to put a lot of resources into them. All right, some of these ogres have arrived and would like some commands. There's something for you to hunt. The dragon needs something to do. Fly back over to this side of the battlefield. Over to this side of the battlefield in particular. We also have to worry about Alistair the White Lion himself, although Alistair is a lot easier, in my opinion, to beat up. Tyrion's going to be a tough one, though. Yeah, and Tyrion's, it looks to me like in hunt mode. We're going to have a hard time dealing with him one-on-one, I think.
Ready to murder.
So I'm going to need some help, and I'm going to need it fast. You are not going to be providing direct melee assistance. I was going to land the dragon on the Everqueen, but on the Handmaiden, but maybe the best thing to do now would be to go back over here and just like frost breath these archers. Okay, you permanently broke those guys. Come forward and make sure these guys are permanently broken. We're going to have to like reset the broken state of some of these enemy troops as they get closer to as they get closer to the map edge and decide to not be afraid of us anymore. The man-eaters with the ogre pistols, let me withdraw them too. Like what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have to set up a group of units that are capable of firing armor-piercing projectiles, and we're gonna have to focus those units on Tyrion. Ooh, boy, our army is gonna be in rough shape after this one. We do not have a lot of gas left. Okay, these man-eaters are headed over there. I mean, I say we don't have a lot of gas left. That's not really true. A lot of us are doing okay. It's just I'm looking at some key spots where I'm a little scared. But you're doing a good job of breaking these enemies down.
Wulfric the Wanderer,
Yeah, we gotta get Wulfric away from Tyrion until we can find time to focus Tyrion down.
Wulfric the Wanderer!
Wulfric is getting stuck on absolutely everything because chariots are ridiculous. You know what Wulfric can do? Wulfric can rear charge that character over there.
Give us carnage! Yes, chieftain!
Okay. Now, we may not actually have to defeat Tyrion at all. Yeah, I was going to say, actually, what we could do here is just win a morale victory and end up not having to... If his whole army gives up, he too might give up. He has a lot of leadership, but he doesn't have infinite leadership. Okay, so it was bloody, as I expected. We won, contrary to the game's prediction. We lost about 650 troops in total to their 1,600. And some pretty decent kill spreads. Some of these, the units of skin wolves that didn't get broken off right away managed to get pretty deep in the enemy archers. Tyrion himself only managed to kill 76, and I think that's a good job to us for limiting that damage. But like a lot of our units are super not ready to fight again, right? Like we'll not be ready to fight for another turn or two. Which I guess at the very least gives us a good incentive to rebuild the composition a little bit. Keep in mind, though, this happened during the enemy turn, right? They attacked us. That's good for us in the sense that replenishment pulses at the beginning of a faction's turn. So we will heal up at the beginning of our turn some significant amount, the amount that we get by being in a friendly settlement, before we have to make any major decisions. So that's good. And his army was massive, so we earned a lot of XP there. Not so much money compared to the size of the army, because a lot of these are fairly basic troops, but pretty good overall. That's a fair amount of replenishment that I think I'm inclined to take, just because we desperately need to make sure we are safe from any other armies they may have. But the fact that we just broke down the forces of their two sort of like main legendary lords, I think is very good news indeed.
Put them to work!
That puts us in a good spot. Okay, they do have another 20 stack right there. But it did look like it's a 20 stack of not very impressive units. And that might be what's going on, is that it may be that they have a lot of armies, but they're all just like the most basic spearmen. Still not seeing any armies from Hexawatl at our doors, which is good. If we were to get attacked while we were like so deep in this, it would probably be really bad. They would like a non-aggression pact now. Our force has proven itself in their eyes. I am inclined to give this to you. However, counteroffer. Okay, I was going to see if they'd also like a trade agreement. The answer is absolutely the fuck not. But we can weasel 198 gold out of them. Generally, if the AI is extending an offer to you, you can counteroffer and get a little bit of money, because they won't actually push a deal until they're a little bit past favorable on it. They won't offer you something if they're like right at the edge of acceptance. So, we're continuing to accumulate followers as we win these battles. Defeating legendary lords unlocks traits. Wulfric the Wanderer has gained another recruit rank for all units and +2 melee attack on everybody in the army. We're getting better at fighting high elves. We stole a Trickster's Shard from them, it looks like. So miscast base chance down. Miscast chance up for your enemies, but it's a thing you have to activate. Increases the cost of enemy spells. I don't think it's great. Okay, and Wolfric did in fact earn his War Mammoth in that battle. So that's great news. We've been issued a mission to establish a trade agreement. We'll worry about that later. So, Relinda.
Far beneath an archmage.
Yeah, Relinda's army, it's a mixture of low tier units, basically. Oh, you know, she's got a Phoenix. That's pretty cool. And she has a couple of siege units, a couple of big ballistas, which would definitely be pretty powerful against us. Things to be wary of. Can she reach Avathir in one turn? She sure can. I wonder if we should fall back.
The Wanderer.
We actually healed almost to full.
I am the Wanderer.
All these replenishment bonuses we've taken, they're really paying off. I don't think we need Mammoth Tamer just yet. Let's grab Hunter of Champions. And then what else is in this box? We need to get 2 points into the box before we can grab this thing, which would give us faster Seafang teleportation, 2 more uses of Seafang in battle, which is great because it is great. It enables replenishment in foreign territory, which is awesome. Global recruitment duration -2 for all units, also awesome. All right, what kind of stuff do we have in here? Worm Piercer and ammunition, anti-large for everybody who throws javelins, plus a bonus versus large for all marauders. That's really powerful. Very, very powerful monster hunting stuff. The Eternal Champion upgrades the Hunter of Champions with affected targets cannot move, gives him the trait Executor. Execute units in combat below the 20% hit point threshold. That's cool. And 10% more physical resistance on Wolfric himself. He's tough. He's not invincible, as we've seen. If we give him the Gift of Tongues, he is better at insulting people during combat, causing them to become discouraged. It's a lot of leadership lost. And Echoes of Ambition. Okay, this is also rad. A big drop in upkeep for his army, I think, is honestly maybe one of the best things we could take right now. I'm going to take this over Juggernauts, although this is getting the next point. And then we'll grab World Walker afterward.
Empowered.
Look at that. We're almost not negative on money anymore. And you have also gained 2 skill points. So, Twisted Architecture leads to Favor as Tribute. Income from raiding and post-battle loot up. Cooldown on spells reduced and miscast chance reduced. And then more corruption spreading. These are not as exciting as the ones that Tyrion has, or not to Tyrion, the ones that Wolfric has. But they're still cool traits. I'm wondering if we should learn another spell first. No, it's probably worth it to grab this stuff. So let's do the Ritualist first. So that's 15% cast chance, or miscast chance down. Once you have something maxed out, it's already, once you have the 3rd mastery point in a spell, it's already getting a 15% reduction in that. So that leaves the chance at 20%. And then if you have Earthing as well, you are only miscasting 5% of the time. That's pretty big.
Ridiculous.
So here's another thing we could do.
Great shame.
Thomin Gorax is also basically at full again. We could just immediately give chase. Right? Instead of sitting back and healing, we could...
Misguided.
Alistair's army is all fucked up. Relinda's army is healthy, but pretty soft. There's 7 units of garrison here to add, and that is 5 units of things with bows, which is certainly worth considering. We don't know if there's anything else down there. I could really use some scouts, honestly.
Yes.
But, like, maybe the thing to do here is just complete mindless aggression forevermore. I'm trying so hard to select my secondary army. Here we go.
Things
All right, we need one more skill point to get into evasion. Would we rather know aspect of the Dread Knight? Probably Doom and Darkness. I think aspect of the Dread Knight is kind of not that interesting. This, at least, is enough of a leadership penalty that you might get some kind of real effect out of it. Enemies might flee. And three skill points worth of kills for Skyla, because holy shit. Let's see here. Maim, melee attack and weapon strength. Kill, weapon melee defense and weapon strength. Destroy, armor and weapon strength. And of course, slaughter, physical resistance, but also some weapon strength. Your melee attack of only 59 is probably fine for the... let's get you some defense. So max level, this is 8. I'm a little worried about this character getting killed before they can do their damage. So yeah, we could run both the armies forward, attack Alistair, who cannot retreat because he's in march mode, and the others would have to either run out into the field in reinforcements to stop him from getting killed, or just let us eat him. And if they do the latter, then we siege the settlement and attack them separately. What does your overall combat strength look like? Still a lot. Still a lot. We have reduced their strength rank, though, pretty significantly. I think I'm going to push it. But do we want to pull in... We're entitled to some regiments of renown at this point, and I'm wondering, do I want to cut some of the injured units and replace them with full health regiments of renown? Like, we could get rid of the normal ogre bulls, who at this point are not very good. The dual weapon ones at least have a bonus versus infantry. Like, we could dump these guys and one of the great weapon marauders to pick up these 2 units of regiment of renown troops and be in a healthier state overall. I think I'm going to do exactly that. Let's kick you out. Let's merge you two so that one of the groups is at 120 and the other one is gone.
Undefeated. Who will prove their devotion?
So we took a chariot to replace the lost ogres. It's just another charging unit, right? And then more infantry for the infantry corps. And
harbinger of war.
We're gonna run down here first and see if I see any more elves. Okay, nope, just Tyrion's shattered forces on the run. Well, I think we got to keep pushing, right? I think we got to keep at it. We would be foolish not to.
Seeking, destroying.
Oh, look at this badass war mammoth. All right, they're calling this a Pyrrhic victory. It's interesting that it's called a Pyrrhic victory, although the auto-resolve has us only losing a single unit of Marauder Berserkers. I'm not sure that that's what I would call Pyrrhic. I think I'm likely to take this just because I kind of... Like, we would win this battle. I kind of don't want to spend the real-world human time. Okay, a couple units of basic Marauders get killed there, too. That's not a huge deal. I'll just go ahead and absorb the damage.
Taking heed.
We will heal it off quickly. I will take the army replenishment. That's a lot of money. I guess Relinda's army is better teched. The treasury, the sacrifice captives is not so much. Just the raw battle spoils.
You are in bondage to chaos.
I will take the enslave.
I'll challenge them.
You will raise a chaos altar to the serpent here in Torsa Thigh.
The scales of the serpent crush with the power of violent seas. All shall fear what slithers from the depths of Norska.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, we definitely need to sit here and heal, which is a little bit of a shame. Dolmen Gorax has been upgraded to a chariot unit himself. killed a couple of characters, got ourselves some more regiments of renown. Exotic animals. What do we get for this? Extra growth in the area, recruitment costs down for monsters and beasts, and more stuff to put in the trade goods. Yeah. At this point, we can probably take Thoman's army out of raid mode. We were doing that because we were raiding allows you to avoid basic attrition, but we don't need the help anymore. We're in friendly, unvampired territory now.
Born of winter.
Okay, so now we have access to some other spells. The Fate of Buna is an unusual spell in that it only costs 1 skill point to completely master it normally, and this just does a lot of damage. It's fine. It's a really mathematically pretty good, totally unexciting damage spell. So we're going to learn the Purple Sun of Xerius instead, because the Purple Sun of Xerius is fun to watch. Which it just casts like a huge black hole, basically, that can rampage through the enemy units. Although it is randomly moving, and sometimes it does not rampage through the enemy units. Sometimes it has other ideas. Definitely going to keep working on kill for you. We need 4 points in this box to move forward. Your defenses are still pretty bad, so let's also get you some physical resistance. It's possible that I should have maxed out physical resistance. Whatever. We're going to fill all these points in, probably eventually.
Where's my next worry?
And then Wolfric has hit level 20. Feeling pretty big, feeling pretty strong. We're going to take, as I said, Juggernauts of the Sarl and then World Walker.
My strength grows.
You are definitely grabbing an envoy of Norska here. Then we can look at what other stuff you have beyond that. And so, we only see one elven army anywhere nearby. We can see all the way to Lothern, and we can see that there are no troops outside of Lothern. This would seem to be an okay time to try to pull some stuff from the global recruitment pool.
You'll earn your guilt with me.
We have access to 4 slots now, thanks to our raised allegiance, in which we can recruit Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh. And I think we're going to go ahead and recruit these over our basic Marauders.
You could make decent fodder.
And do we want to also kick out the Great Weapon Marauders? Maybe I kick out the Ogre Bulls. You know what? The Ogre Bulls are just not providing enough benefit anymore. And thanks to our some of our cool effects, we're now able to get these in a single turn of global recruitment. So this will be a nice tougher armored core for our infantry. Give this army a little bit more extended standing power. We don't have any local recruitment going on this island at all. If I did, well, we know what we want to do here, though. We want to upgrade this, so I'm probably just going to leave that. Yeah, if we did want to capture something, the thing to capture would probably be Lothern. We have access to some special buildings here. The Straits of Lothern are, high value unique docks. And then on top of that, we can loot the palace and turn that into a landmark for ourselves, providing a garrison of Famir warriors, generating a healthy amount of income, and also elven trinkets for us to sell. Well, that's certainly going to be our goal. What do we get from the conquests area for defeating lots of high elves? The butchering of the high elves gives hero recruit rank up, glorious charge when fighting high elves. So, okay, not the stuff that's not like super, super exciting. Did we ever finish? Yes, we did. So, this building up, we now have the ability to recruit Marauder Ice Wolf chariots, and armored skin wolves, which is just like a normal skin wolf, except armored, you know? We also have the ability to get skin wolf werekin, which are hero units that are pretty good in melee combat, as you might expect. But I definitely want to hire at least one right this second to be a map action hero. Somebody's got to, feed us intel about enemies. And let's see here. You are uncompromising. You can never have your melee attack reduced during battle, and you have a 10% chance of wounding aggressors as a map unit. Congratulations, Haralder. You are the spy. We might want to hire one to go and serve as a fighting unit in our wizard army. If we were going to do that, I mean, Sanguine's like fine. Sneaky is also fine. Stalk means that they just remain invisible until they are within a certain distance of the enemy. So obviously there's a lot of potential use for that with a unit that likes to flank. They're not cheap units to operate, but I do think we're going to get our money's worth. Let's go ahead and recruit Carl to go and join the military as well. Unfortunately, they have to be recruited in the place where you have the appropriate building, so that's why we have to get them there instead of somewhere that would fit a little bit better. And then, yeah, you guys are just in heal up mode. There's no reason to do anything other than what we've done here in friendly mode. Yeah, okay. I'm a little nervous about the fact that, like, these guys are still reported as being so powerful. Like, they must have more armies somewhere, but as long as they're not right here, I guess it doesn't really matter. Feels reckless, though. And so I am nervous. So we got, physical resistance for our characters, upkeep down for our armies, a weapon strength bonus for our Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh and our spawns, which we're working on having some of. Yeah, I think we're good. And our global recruitment slots are totally full, so we're recruiting all the units we can at the moment. Hopefully the High Elves don't have, like, 3 armies just out of view with an incredible amount of movement range. I assume Tyrion is going to... Okay, interesting. I was going to say is going to continue running into Lothern. But he's just going into mustering mode right there in Val's Anvil. That does not seem the wisest to me. I guess the AI is figuring that we have to spend a turn or two sitting still, right? I can't really attack for fear of there being more armies over by Lothern. But he's got to know he's not going to get very much replenishment or recruitment done in that location. We are going to make him pay. Well, this right here, it's the classic high elf hubris, really.
My Norskins are hungry for battle. Make your case well.
Well, this is bad news. Yeah, so this is a demand. We're gonna lose our home if we don't appease Throg, basically, is what he's saying here. We can afford to play a little bit of appeasement. And I know appeasement has never been a great solution in, like, real-world military history. People keep thinking it's going to work for them, and then obviously it doesn't. And it's just like, wow, how could they possibly be so stupid? But could it work for us? Well, let me tell you, I think it just might. I need to hold on to that for as long as we can, and I think we can afford to spend that much money. If he comes and takes it eventually, it's going to be sad. If we can put these elves down real fast, we might be able to make something happen. We might be able to sail back over there and actually fight him for control of the north, As your hunters scour the land following their quarry's tracks, that's true, we do technically still have a hunt running, a ragged host follows their progress, closing in. Like gathering clouds, their ill intent darkens at the edges of the army. Either out of fear or some morbid reverence for the beast you pursue, they seem keen on striking directly at the head of the force. Some are picked off, but others use their superior knowledge of the lands to finally achieve their ruinous goal. The leader lies in tatters, surrounded by the corpses of the would-be assassins. So we could say onwards come what may for this army, but their leader gets wounded. We can repay the dark gods. Just an offering. Pay 800 gold, but all of our characters, just in this force, get 15% ward save for 4 turns. It's not even very good. Or we can just protect the Lord. He'll take some damage, and we'll lose 30% movement range. I don't like any of this stuff. I guess Beseech the Dark Gods, 800's not that much treasury loss. That was written in such a generic way that, like, narratively, it's very difficult for me to even tell what was supposed to be happening.
Conduit for the beyond.
Alright, it does feel like I want to spend another turn replenishing, I think. Well, what does the garrison of Valzanville look like? 14 units. 14 units behind some real defenses. Not particularly, actually. I wonder if this is the moment, if we should just be charging over there right now. Can we? I assume we have that movement range. Yeah. And this will stop him mustering whatever he's going to muster. And so it'll be, 20-ish units. His 20-ish units against mine. Mine are in rough shape in a lot of ways, but... You know what? I'm not going to make this decision right now. I think that's what I've decided. I think we have done a pretty good job of pushing the High Elves real hard and fast, breaking some of their, I presume, more important forces, given who was at the head, despite the fact that they don't necessarily seem to be awesome armies. And in general, I think I want to continue the push. I think we're going to try to keep the momentum up. But, like I said, we'll make the final call on that tomorrow. So come back next time for that, and we'll see you then.